Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Christian Artiaga. I am a C7 quadriplegic medically retired Air Force veteran, and this is the Monday Push, where I try to spread some encouragement by sharing some life lessons I've learned. So for today's topic, I want to talk about setbacks, being okay with starting over when life forces us backwards. So, ever since my spinal cord injury 3 years ago, I spent a lot of time rebuilding my independence. Everything from my transfers, my mobility, my strength, all took an enormous amount of work and repetition to develop. Over time, I was able to build this baseline where I can make life manageable. It wasn't necessarily easy, but routine became familiar. And I built this confidence surrounding what my body was able to do, as well as the independence that I worked really hard to achieve. But recently, I came back from a ski trip, and after returning, I found that my triceps were severely overworked, which tanked my quality of life because I rely on my arms for everything. So everything from bed mobility, transferring in and out of bed, transferring in and out of my car, just even simple daily tasks I found required a lot more energy than before. And this honestly impacted my mental health a lot more than I thought it would. And I don't think it was because things became harder physically necessarily. I think it's because I had a certain level of expectation surrounding my ability. I had this baseline, and when I fell beneath it, it immediately disrupted my whole identity. And for a while, I found myself comparing my old version of myself to my current situation. Every hard transfer felt proof that I had regressed, and I started taking it very personally. Eventually, it got to the point where I had to accept this new reality. I had to let go of my ego, and I had to accept that I needed to go back to the basics. I had to call my PT, my physical therapist, and get a consult and return with goals that I had from when I originally got injured. Goals that included rebuilding my arm strength, relearning techniques that I had learned so long ago that I have to revisit. And that whole experience changed something within me. It was extremely humbling, and after reflection, there was a lot of lessons that I learned that I'm excited to share with you guys, because there's a lot of things that I think become universal. And this applies to anybody who has experienced setbacks, feel like they're falling behind, or have lost progress, whether it's in their relationships, their fitness, or even their careers. I think we often see progress as something that needs to be this straight, upward linear path, but in reality, life isn't like that. Life has setbacks, and it requires us to rebuild sometimes. Sometimes strength isn't necessarily pushing harder, but instead it's having the courage to be humbled to start over. But what's nice is that we're not ever truly starting over from scratch. Every time we have to rebuild, we're rebuilding with experiences, with lessons learned, and with new knowledge. So if you're in a season where you feel like life forced you backwards, I want to remind you this. A setback does not erase progress. In fact, progress is often dependent on setbacks. So I'll leave you guys with this. What's one area in your life you feel like you've been resisting starting over? And what is one small action you can make towards rebuilding? Well, thank you guys for tuning in on another episode of the Monday Push, and we'll catch you next week. See ya.